Welcome to our webinar about teaching our kiddos about the importance of boundaries and personal space as presented by Lansdowne Children's Center. My name is Claudia and I am an autism therapist at Lansdowne, and I will be your presenter today. Here's a few pictures that we can have a little laugh at, as I know teaching about personal space can be quite a scary topic. It's also one that may not have one specific way to teach, as everyone learns and develops social skills and boundaries in their own ways. Take a second to check out these memes. Today, we will be discussing in more depth several tips on how to teach personal space and boundaries, why it is important, some examples of some resources that we've used in the past, as well as our contact information to possibly book a clinic with Lansdowne to obtain further support in this area. What is personal space and boundaries? For some children with autism, it can be difficult to understand personal space and boundaries, which relates to them and the people around them. Personal space is the distance from one person to another at which what proximity feels comfortable when talking to or being near that person. Boundaries are the limitations we set in our personal relationships with the people who may become involved in our world. We often use the image of a target when describing to a child what personal space is when developing a healthy establishment of boundaries. The center represents ourselves. Around us are the people and individuals who help to influence and shape our worlds. The boundary nearest to us are individuals that we see every day and whom we have love and trust for, such as our family or close friends. As we move further from the center, we maintain a different relationship or level of boundaries with the people who we aren't as emotionally close with, such as our community helpers or acquaintances. The furthest circle are strangers. These are people we do not know or have developed a trusting relationship with. Teaching tips. Here are some teaching tips we suggest when introducing the concepts of personal space and boundaries to your child. Create a calming space. Creating a calming space in your home is not only a good place for your child to retreat to when they are feeling overwhelmed or in need of some quiet time, but it can also help them to understand personal boundaries by demonstrating to them some places in the house are just for them, just like some places in the house are just for others, such as bedrooms. Set examples and practice opportunities. It is important to be a role model for your child by showing them what appropriate space is when, for example, having a conversation with someone. Use clear and simple language when explaining certain things to not complicate this lesson. Focus on using safe versus unsafe language, accompanied by pictures or names of familiar family members, community helpers, and trusted friends. Place emphasis on safe people rather than unsafe, as we do not want to overteach fear. Next, you want to teach your child how to understand and read body language. Our body language makes up 55% of our communication and provides most of our social context when socializing with others. We want to set examples of how our body should appear when sharing spaces with others. For example, maintain a respectful space when talking. If standing too close, a child or another person may look scared and begin backing away from them or hold their arms out. If this occurs, explain to your child that this person is trying to communicate that that your child is standing too close or are in their space. Social stories. Using social stories can be helpful in teaching about boundaries and personal space. Social stories help children with autism to break down information, process, and understand it. It's a fun and interactive way to show your children what good and bad personal space looks like, why people have boundaries, and what social cues to look for. If you are interested in having a social story personalized to your child, please contact Lansdowne by booking a clinic through our family support workers. Visual cues. Visual cues such as pictures or objects can be a great tool for explaining personal boundaries. For example, using a big ball or a hula hoop to represent what personal space looks like. When entering a hula hoop or forgetting the space between a ball, tell your child that this is invading someone's personal bubble. You must ask for consent or permission before doing this. Again, using our analogy of the target as seen earlier is also a great way to allow a child to visualize who in their world is considered safe versus unsafe when establishing personal boundaries. Lastly, praise and recognition. Learning personal space and recognizing boundaries takes time and may not come naturally to your child. It is important that we praise any attempts of recognizing boundaries and practicing good personal space so that we are reinforcing the behavior we want to see. Odds are, if a child knows that you are proud of their attempts and have celebrated their new knowledge, they are most likely to act out that preferred behavior again. Let them know you are proud of how they are learning about personal space and boundaries. Why is this important? To put it simply, it's important to try and teach your child about personal space and physical boundaries because it will help them to socialize with others and feel comfortable in their own bodies. Likewise, it will help others to socialize and feel comfortable around them. It is a great way to introduce the concept of asking for consent and giving them the power to advocate for themselves and how they may be feeling in certain social scenarios. Encourage discussion around respect and consent in relation to your child's body and feelings to promote self-worth and ownership. Point out to your child that just like other people, it is their decision whether they allow someone into their personal space or not. It is okay to say no when someone or something makes them feel uncomfortable. This is very important for your child to understand as they grow into a teenager or adult when they begin forming their own connections and relationships with others. For example, some people may not like giving or accepting hugs, and that is okay. That means we need to listen to our children's requests as well as others' requests and respect their wishes while also taking in people's feelings into consideration. Let's teach our children that saying no means no. Everyone has the right to make their own choices and decisions. Teaching resources. For more information or ways to teach about consent and boundaries, please take a look at these kid-friendly books to use as an introduction to spark these conversations with your children. The first book, Let's Talk About Body, Boundaries, Consent, and Respect, contains educational questions and discussion topics to go along with each page to encourage discussion and provide examples regarding respect and consent. The other books were written and created for children, and some we often use with our clients to help teach these concepts. These books include No Means No, Miles is the Boss of His Body, My Invisible Bubble. Additionally, our establishment, Lansdowne Children's Center, can offer you more assistance around personal space and boundaries. If you are a parent or guardian on the OAP waitlist, you are free to contact our family support workers, Ellie or Chantel, for a potential clinic to help navigate you to other supports that are available. Some of the supports that we currently offer are clinics. Clinics are 1-hour sessions with 2 follow-up sessions focused on one specific goal. They are directed by a board-certified behavior analyst and/or an autism therapist. They are also covered under the OAP's Family Foundational Services. For more information regarding booking a clinic or more caregiver information with the Autism Services Department, please feel free to contact our family support workers using the phone extension and email given. Thank you for listening to our webinar regarding boundaries and personal space, and I hope that you learned some new strategies to try with your children.